this is where we watch and go through the rest of these cards for these two fights right here. We have the exciting, or the was exciting, Marcio Rufi versus Benoit Saint Denis. In the co-main here, Marcio Rufi getting his big shot to get ranked in the lightweight division against Benoit Saint Denis, who's had a couple bad losses, but I think that he's coming off a win. And this fight, it was all Benoit Saint Denis. Besides that one flying knee that Rufio hit, I think Benoit just dominated. I mean, Rufio was Rufio was able to flip the positions a couple times in a reverse, but I think it was short lived, and he would just let Benoit Saint Denis back up anyway. So he did no damage in those positions, and I think Benoit just fought how he should be fighting this whole time, just having a very grapple, spam heavy style. If he fought like a little bit more like Gamrot, I feel like he would be a way better fighter and way more dangerous. And I feel like that's how he fought this fight. So, good fight showing out of Benoit Saint Denis, able to get the submission here. And Rufi, you showed a little bit of a good job to be able to reverse some positions, but I don't know. You were on top and you just stood up and let him up. You could have just won the round and did some damage there and stood been on top for the whole round and just win the round. Get your feet wet in the higher rankings of the UFC. Instead, you're trying to get the highlight moments. You stood him back up and also there was one moment where Benoit Saint Denis was on his ass and Rusi was going to go kick his legs and stuff, and Mark Garter just stood him back up without even letting him back up. So, but anyways, that's besides the point. I felt like he would have lost anyway, but good showing out of Benoit Saint Denis and Rufi. I don't know, man. He might have to go fight Drew Dober or something, man.
I mean, I'm conflicted with Mauricio Hoofy, bro, because first off, he looked weak. Like just for the weight class, I don't know if he's strong enough to fight at 155 because he got ragdolled by BSD. And BSD, man, I mean to recover from the Poirier fight and to do this
The Moicano
against a
fight.
guy
Moicano.
who people,
Don't forget about the Moicano fight too.
yeah, Moicano as well, and like to do this against Mauricio Hoof, you came in as a favorite, by the way. In front of your home crowd. I mean, dude, BSD looked good. He looked really good. He fought solid. It reminded me of the Benoit Saint Denis that we had come to like and enjoy when he first got into the UFC. He went back to the basics, and he looked good. He looked really, really good. I think it's good having a guy like Benoit Saint Denis kind of take the Benil Dariush role, where you're the one kind of fraud checking people, and that's what he did. He fraud checked Mauricio Hoofy, and that's not a knock on Mauricio Hoofy saying that he's a bad mixed martial artist. What I mean by fraud checking is, and you and me said this on the live stream, the first grappling exchange, we even said it. Yep, Mauricio Hoofy has a lot of work to do. The grappling exchange was bad. He looked uncomfortable on the feet. He couldn't get nothing off against Benoit Saint Denis. I think he tries too much to be Connor and do the karate stance way too much instead of actually like just doing his game plan. Like he just kind of looks for moments, and it's a good win for Benoit Saint Denis. I again, he's a guy I think is going to persistently be near the top of lightweight. What that looks like now, I don't know because that division's an absolute mess. He called out Arman Sarukian. He wants Arman, and whether Arman takes that fight, I highly doubt.
Hell
I
no.
I think they're more. I think they're more prone to give him the Patty fight if Gaethje fights Topuria. My opinion. Um, but I think, and even then, Patty and BSD would sell. If you do Patty and BSD in England or something, that would sell. Be a good fight. It's just a complicated spot now at lightweight. You have Gaethje, Patty, and Arman who all say they deserve to fight for the title, and the UFC has told us absolutely nothing about what's going to happen at 155. So, but other than that, Benoit Saint Denis, great job in the co-main event in front of his home crowd as well. He always fights good in France. Uh, yeah, we'll see what they do with him. And for Mauricio Hoofy, man, again, the fighting nerds, yeah, pray for the fighting nerds, man. They
Honestly,
ain't looking good right now.
I honestly think Rufi should go to featherweight, but the problem is you got Gene Silva
Yeah,
there.
I agree.
You got Gene Silva there, so
Yeah,
that's why I think he's fighting at lightweight. I think he's really a featherweight, but Gene Silva, Gene Silva probably would do. Honestly, Gene Silva would probably be better at lightweight, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Hear me out. Mauricio Hoofy in a dream world. Mauricio Hoofy, Yair Rodriguez at featherweight.
Yeah,
I'd like
I
that.
like that. Yeah, that'd be fire. I mean, I think eventually, yeah, that'd be fire. That'd be a great fight. So, Let's go to the main fight here. We're going basically. This is a title shot eliminator here to determine who gets to fight Hamza. Pretty much, barring that RDR and Fluffy don't do nothing spectacular. Um, but I mean, Imavov winning here pretty much secures it because he really didn't even need to fight again after knocking out Izzy, and then him taking this fight and then also securing the win again in the main event. I think that probably gets him the title shot. But I think watching this fight, um, it secures to me that RDR and Fluffy are the only people that could probably beat Hamza. I think Hamza runs to both Kyle and Imavov. And people were saying, 4-1 Imavov or a blowout, but I really thought the fight was a lot more closer and technical. I had a 3-2 Imavov. I had Kyle winning 2 and 3. And besides that, I just think, for all the disadvantages Kyle had in this fight, speed disadvantage, preparation disadvantage, because, he was the backup for the Chimaev DDP card, so he had a cut weight for that. That was in Chicago. This fight's in Paris, so the travel time difference. So he gave up about 2 weeks of training, um, for this fight, to be the backup. So I think that ended up hurting him here a little bit. I feel like if he gets that extra preparation, he doesn't have to do those 2 weight cuts because you could see it in his eyes. His eyes seem a little depleted. I don't know. He seemed a little tired or something. But that is kind of how
Yeah.
you got to look sometimes without his glasses. But I don't know. He just seemed a little tired to me, a little sluggish. If you look at the pace he was able to put on something like Jared Cannonier, a guy who probably is a lot more dangerous power wise. Imavov is really good technically, but I don't know. I just think that really hurt him in this fight. And then Imavov, I think he just fought a good game plan. He was faster. He was jabbing really well. He was sticking really well, and he's being the counter. He was pressuring, but he was being the counter puncher. So he was pressuring Kyle, but he was allowing Kyle to come in, and he was just countering him because he knew he was faster. I think that also stopped Kyle from being able to go for the takedown so heavy. If you have a guy pressuring you, and if you go and shoot for a takedown, if he's really faster than you, he can catch you with a fast jab, stick you, and then back up, and you're nowhere there to get the shot. You're not even close. You're just putting yourself at in a position to get knocked out. So I think that's why Kyle wasn't really able to get a takedown at all. He's getting put on the back foot himself. So good fight out of Imavov, and I think that secures him the fight against Chimaev. I think Chimaev ragdolls him, and then we actually get a good contender RDR Fluffy. So
Yeah, I mean, well put. All of it, well put. One thing I saw after the fight was Strickland talking about when Kyle came to Extreme Couture to train and actually didn't want to spar because he's like, I'm the alternate for DDP Hamzat, so I can't really train right now. And Strickland was calling him out. I think it's more of Sean setting up his next fight, knowing that with the suspension he can't fight right now, so he lost himself the Hamzat fight. So he's probably just setting up for a Kyle Bahalio fight, which is smart on Sean's part to kind of set up your next fight now and start the beef or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Kyle, going into the fight, we proposed a lot of ways that he could win the fight. Once it got to like round 3 or 4, I think 4 was the one where I was like, I don't see Kyle winning this fight. I don't, and because Imavov, sorry, pulled away really in round 5, but the way Imavov was point fighting, it wasn't letting Kyle make the fight dirty. Every time you go for a takedown, Imavov defense a bit. I think it was also Kyle wasn't committing to the takedowns. He wasn't committing to getting him against the cage. He wasn't committing to, hey, if I'm gonna burn myself out taking him down, at least I'm the heavier guy that's gonna make him have to work. He's a striker. I gotta tire him out. You know, he got some nice leg kicks on Imavov, and then Imavov just started checking him, and it just
I just don't.
it's tough. Imavov, yeah,
I just can't in
yeah.
my mind can't think of one time that Imavov was in a position to get taken down. I mean, maybe when he threw that spinning back fist, you could have went for a body lock, but besides that, I can't in my mind think of one time where Imavov was in a bad position where Kyle could have grabbed him. He was always on the back. He had Kyle on the back foot the whole fight.
He kept shooting in the middle of the octagon,
Yeah,
which unless you're Hamza Chimaev, you're not. It's a bad idea to shoot in the middle of the eye. You want to shoot with a guy against the cage every time, because shooting with a guy upper close against the cage, it just provides you where they're scared of what's behind them and what's in front of them. Right. Imavov was just able to kind of sprawl and just kind of like back up and just get out of those positions when Kyle was trying to take him down. Um, I don't know, man. I mean, listen, Imavov, I'm with you. I think Hamza ragdolls him. I haven't seen enough from Imavov at all to say he even gets out of the first round with
Yeah,
Hamza.
Sean Strickland ragdolled him. So come on, man.
Which is why I see now the RDR Fluffy fight, which I wish that was the number one contender fight. I think both those guys are a better matchup for Hamzat. But again, the way the timing's going to work, we got to see when the UFC books Hamzat as well. I have a feeling they're going to book him in one of the first cards for 2026, especially with opening up the Paramount deal. It makes sense to have Hamzat fight Imavov, just because Hamzat's going to sell. Hamzat's Hamzat.
And they're gonna do
Hamzat
that.
is
They're gonna do
like,
that in Abu Dhabi too.
yeah, exactly. And so, I don't know. We'll see, man. I think for Kyle, there's a lot of questions to ask now. The fighting nerds, because the fighting nerds, they're good, but every time they're getting tested now, they're not hitting the mark, and that leaves me questions of like, okay, these guys are technically they're good, but something's missing. Something's missing in the game plan. Something's missing in the power, right? Uh, which again, Carlos Prates, I'm gonna excuse for a second. I think he's the one exception right now that they got, and even Gene Silva a little. But I gotta see Gene Silva against Diego Lopez, right, in a real test. But specifically talking like Kyle Bahalio and Hoofy, especially Bahalio, who's been the one fighting longer in the top level of the UFC now, right, for the fighting nerds. Kyle grinds out wins, and I give him all the credit in the world. He grinds out wins, he gets them. Now I have a lot of questions. Do you book him against Izzy? Do you book him against Robert Whitaker? Right? Can he beat guys like that? And there's no disrespect to Jared. I know we joke, but there's no disrespect to Jared Cannonier. He is a tough test at middleweight. But
People
getting through a
forget,
Jared
man. He
Cannonier,
was a marauder.
getting through a Jared Cannonier looks different than getting through an Imavov or getting through an Adesanya and a Whitaker, in my opinion. So now Kyle Bohalio is in a position now where we have to ask: is this a guy that's ever actually going to fight for the title, or is he going to just hang around the top? So we'll see. Imavov, though, he's got the Hamza fight next. If they book it that way, they probably will. I have a lot of questions in that fight for him, and I don't like the answers to any of it. So, but other than that, I mean, it was a good card. Great crowd in Paris as always. We got to see Surreal Gone wearing some fishnet sleeves, which great. Ian Gary and Carlos Prazas were hanging out, which
They were holding hands.
great.
Yeah.
I love how nobody asked Ian Gary why he's ducking Sean Brady. Why are you ducking Sean Brady, Ian? Sorry, I need to know. Why are you not giving us that fight? Do you really think you're gonna get a title shot? Like, fuck out of here, dude.
Anyways.